Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the main event of the evening. Please welcome the challenger for the title from Zaragoza, Spain, Jose Antonio Lopez Bueno.
Well, what a mouthful. Jose Antonio Lopez Bueno, the biggest of names for the tiniest of Spanish fighters. At a little under 5'3", he says he'll only manage a pint of Guinness tonight because otherwise he won't remember how he's taken the European honours away from Irish soil. A former world flyweight champion, but who many critics believe got the easiest of routes in a division where titles frequently change hands. Well matched and basic, or quick, dangerous, and perhaps most importantly, Jim, hungry to ultimately regain the world honours that he never actually lost in a ring.
Yeah, but he's boxed at top level and come through on top. And probably the last thing that Damaen Kelly needs, when you think of his history with cuts, is an aggressive little roughhouse fella who's 2 inches shorter than he is. So his head is going to be that little bit lower, and obviously more danger as far as Kelly's concerned. But Kelly just has to go on with the job as normal. You can't have in the back of your mind, am I going to be cut tonight? And I think he's been cut often enough, and with the experience he has, he'll be able to do that. But, I mean, it's a great pity, a career in the balance because of eye injuries. You have to feel sorry for a little fella.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome home the champion from Belfast, Damaen Kelly!
Surely the finest textbook boxer operating in Ireland today. A man who, on ability alone, seemed destined to follow in the footsteps of recent world leaders Steve Collins and Wayne McCulloch. But the exceptional amateur has found the rigours of the professional ring can take their toll. Cuts, cuts, and more cuts. Constant bouts of surgery to repair his fragile skin, and a hell of a lot of guts earned him a European title. Now he's cleaned up at every domestic level. Only time will tell if he can make manager Frank Maloney's bold prediction of becoming boxing's first millionaire flyweight come true. Biggest test here, Jim.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's in the big league now. I mean, European titles, prestige titles. A little fellow who, as he said, lost a world title but not in the ring. This, without doubt, is his biggest test. So we wish him well. He has the ability and the experience to be here. He has that to back up his defence here. But just hope, a little bit of luck is all he needs.
Working on the eyebrows already, Mick Williamson. Let's look at the tail of the tape. Bueno the younger by 2 years, and the shorter could be important, that. Kelly with the reach. If he can get behind his jab and box, he could find it an easy night. Kelly only debuted in 97. Bueno 6 years ago. More fights, more experiences, more rounds boxed, and slight knockout advantage to Kelly, but neither massive punches.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the legendary Ulster Hall here in Belfast, Northern Ireland, it's time for the main event of the evening. Tonight, Panix Promotions, in association with Trinity Promotions, proudly present Europe Today, the World Tomorrow. This is 12 3-minute rounds for the Flyweight Championship of Europe. We'd like to welcome our viewers watching live and exclusively on Sky Sports Ringside Special. All of tonight's officials are appointed by the European Boxing Union and the British Boxing Board of Control. Your EBU supervisor is Enzo Jacoponi of Italy. Your British Boxing Board of Control steward in charge is Mr. John Williamson from Belfast. Your matchmaker is Mr. Dean Powell. The timekeeper of the bell is Mr. Dale Elliott from Belfast. Your 3 scoring judges at ringside are Henry Hemmerich of the Netherlands, Kayman Petrov of Bulgaria, and Axel Zilke of Germany. And your referee officiating tonight is Mr. Massimo Baravicchio from Italy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 12 3-minute rounds for the Flyweight Championship of Europe between, and introducing to you firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, this young man is wearing the red-coloured shorts. At the weighing, he's scaled 7 stone, 13 pounds and 14 ounces. He brings to the ring an outstanding professional record. 21 contests, 15 wins, 10 of those wins coming inside the scheduled distance with only 4 defeats and 2 draws. Please welcome the former WBO flyweight champion of the world from Zaragoza, Spain, Jose Antonio Lopez Bueno. And across the ring in the red corner, this young man is going to be one of the stars of world boxing. He's wearing the white coloured shorts with a green trim. At the weighing he scaled 7 stone, 13 pounds and 6 ounces. He also has an outstanding professional record. 12 contests, 11 wins, 6 of those wins inside the scheduled distance with only 1 defeat. Please welcome the former British and Commonwealth flyweight champion, and tonight, making the first defense of his championship, the current flyweight champion of Europe from Belfast, Northern Ireland, Damaen Kelly.
A cauldron of noise inside the intimidating atmosphere.
Will now give his final instructions to both boxers. This is 12 3-minute rounds for the flyweight championship of Europe.
Buena suerte.
Home advantage with Damaen Kelly. How will Lopez Bueno cope inside the Ulster Hall? Irish would-be hero Damaen Kelly making the first defence of the European 8-stone crown in only his 13th professional outing. An unlucky omen, or will the luck be with him in relation to his fragile skin, which can rip apart so quickly? Bueno has come full of confidence, declaring his hand openly over the last few days that he will press forward and attack Kelly's eyebrows at any opportunity. So Jim, will the master craftsman be too slick and quick, or will the rugged Spaniard bull his way to a bloody victory?
Well, I think what would be the nicest thing to happen is if he can maybe pick up a few of the early rounds, but without damage. You don't want your plan torn to pieces in the first or second round. So a nice bit of long-range boxing with the chin down and the forehead, keeping the eyes out of harm's way. A couple of rounds in the bank, then maybe raise the tempo then. But obviously you can't take chances, especially early with his history of cuts.
That's what Kelly excels at. Boxing from long range, speed, movement. Brought him 5 Irish ABA titles, 225 amateur contests, and so far 11 out of 12 successful professional wins. Bueno is a former world champion and can be dangerous with the right hand, but surely Kelly the more skillful of the pairing. Just having a good look, the Irishman.
Well, first impression of Bueno, it looks not bad at all. Adam moves around well, nicely balanced, nicely poised. He looks quick, he's flitting. Not too many punches have landed as yet because they're both quick reflexes, just keeping out of harm's way, keeping out of danger. But first impressions, he looks not too bad.
Kelly tries to go for the body. The word is from the Bueno camp is that he's got himself into peak condition. Better, they think, than when he won the world title. He knows this is a massive opportunity to get himself back into the top flyweights of the world. Kelly mapped out for success. The cuts are a problem. Watch out for the eyebrows of Kelly.
See, the one bit of good news, if you like, about Kelly, a lot of the cuts that he's received have been partly his own fault. You know, he sometimes does silly things up close with his own head. He actually causes some of the butts that have cut, that caused the cuts. So I mean, you can learn as a technique. There's always going to be clashes of heads in boxing, but there's a technique in making sure the other fella comes off worse, if you know what I mean. And Kelly just hasn't learned that yet, so he's the one who's been cut all the time.
As Mickey Cantwell was saying earlier, most of those cuts do come from head clashes. He had a nightmare with Keith Knox when he lost his British and Commonwealth titles, outboxing the Bonnyrigg Butcher until he was cut all over the place. But he's doing okay so far. Good round. Welcome back to the Ulster Hall. Tonight's European flyweight title defence is the first staged in Belfast since Rinty Monaghan fought a 15-round draw with Terry Allen in 1949. There's Damaen Kelly's corner with trainer Mickey Hawkins and Mick Williamson, who may well play the vital role in there tonight, if needed, on the eyebrows. He needed to do that for Ricky Hatton at the weekend in Detroit. Hatton suffering a bad cut in the first round before winning in 2. Here's the second round of this title defence. First one for Damaen Kelly since he won the title off Alexander Mamutov, pretty controversially, back in February. Many at ringside thought he hadn't done quite enough, but he came back well when he was cut and hurt, and showed some nice in-fighting as well as boxing on the outside. This could be tricky against Bueno, who's made a pretty confident, compact start.
Yeah, a lot of the punches in the first round were out of range because both guys quick, nice defences, and a little bit of work that was done came from Kelly. So he probably just shaded the first round, but virtually nothing in that first round.
As we saw on the tail of the tape earlier, he's got the reach advantage, Kelly, which could be crucial as he works his way around the ring. Boxed beautifully when he won the Commonwealth title against Alfonso Zvienica.
One of the good things about Kelly too is he's comfortable going forward and going back. It makes no difference. He's just as effective, so he's quite happy here to allow Bueno to come forward and maybe make some mistakes.
Bueno's going to have to come forward to get into range and try to upset Kelly on the inside. To the body there. The right hand of Bueno. The younger man as well at 25. Plenty of ambition will be left in the Spaniard's legs. He actually was stripped of his world title as he damaged an ankle in a motorbike accident, so he didn't lose it in the ring.
Kelly's boxing nicely now. He's finding the range with the little counters. Bueno hasn't really been able to do anything with him yet. Yep, lovely.
It's nice. Doubling up on the jab from Kelly.
And Bueno's not a beast, which is good news. He's a standoff boxer. So, not the rough house that maybe we feared.
Yes, he may well have to change his tactics as the fight goes on, unless he's going to eat up Kelly's jab all night. He won the Irish Boxing Writers Boxer of the Year last year, Kelly, and when he's on song, he really is a very, very difficult customer to get out of a rhythm. You know, Barry McGuigan up in the studio rates him really highly, one of his prospects.
And what a good 12-round fighter he is too. I mean, he does the 12 rounds at a canter, no problem.
Yes, absolutely. He often has to go the long route because of his lack of punch power. But he's boxing very nicely, thank you, here.
Tyson come in last night?
No, tomorrow scheduled. Or Wednesday, sorry.
Less than the last time. Less than the last time. Was he in shape? What's the story?
We bring you live golf, and it's a very special event, the 100th US Open, the second major of the year. All the big names there, Woods, Duval, Singh, and for Europe, Montgomery, Westwood and Clark. Exclusive live coverage from Pebble Beach starting Thursday evening, 7:30, Sky Sports 2. We're in Belfast tonight, and it's becoming a fascinating affair for the European flyweight title. Back to Jim and Adam.
Yes, it is, Paul. Good start from Damaen Kelly, the home fighter in the white trunks. with the green waistband, up against Jose Antonio Lopez Bueno in the red from Zaragoza in Spain. Kelly boxing very nicely. No sign yet of any damage to the fragile skin. Hasn't been able to get into it yet, Bueno.
No, Kelly just a little bit too sharp in the early stages here.
With all the amateur experience he had boxing in the Atlanta Olympics and winning bronze at the European in '96 and gold in the '96 Commonwealth Federation event in South Africa, Kelly, he's had years of tuition. And this is only his 13th professional fight, but bar the cuts, he looks so at ease in a ring. Nice right hand. Yeah, lovely right hand, Jim. Lovely right hand. Flush on Bueno's face. Picks his shots well.
Yeah, and he's quite happy because he's being allowed to work at his own pace here. Bueno is not pressurising, he's kind of stalking around, walking around after him, but not pressurising. So he's working, finding a nice little rhythm. He's working away at his own pace.
Yes, he's out of range, Bueno. He just cannot get near Kelly at the moment. He's just moving around him and using his speed to outfox the Spaniard. Nothing hitting from Bueno. Becoming an increasingly more difficult proposition for the challenger.
But he is trying to raise the pace now, Bueno.
Good jabs from Kelly, and the crowd roar their approval. Barry in the studio was saying how difficult it is to fight in the Ulster Hall if you are a foreigner. It can be quite intense in here. And Damaen Kelly loves boxing at home.
I will say also that they're a good fight audience, the Irish, because they don't boo the other guy. In some cities in Britain, the visiting boxer gets a terrible reception, but over here they're very fair. And if the guy puts up a show, it's much appreciated. But another good round for Damaen Kelly.
European champion Damaen Kelly's corner, and a very happy one at the moment.
Yep, picking the punches nicely and taking virtually nothing in return. So what we hoped was, so you can see that the jab is dominating the fight at the moment. But and as I say, taking nothing back. So we wanted a couple of rounds in the bank, and on that card, that's what he's got.
And in between rounds, they were also having a little look at Bueno's right cheek or right eye. They had something to calm the swelling down a little, so it's the Spanish corner that maybe needs to watch the face at the moment and not the Irishman's. That's good news for Kelly and for his fans. So far, so good. Bueno's fought a couple of English fighters before, or British fighters, and Harry Woods and Dave Colwell. And I was speaking to Dave Colwell, the Sheffield fighter from the Brendan Ingle gym, who had him down a couple of times, and who said he found him particularly easy to hit. He's full of ambition, though. being beaten to the punch.
Yep, he doesn't quite know what to do. I think he's obviously hoping in a few rounds that Damaen Kelly is going to settle down, slow down a little bit, but it hasn't happened in the past. So Bueno has some problems ahead of him.
Absolutely not. When he fought Mametov for the European title event, Damaen Kelly increased the pace. He had a terrible start and won pretty much everything at the end of the fight, the back straight, and was actually given one level. Oh, and it's a punch and right hand, we think. Yep, and Bueno scores with that dangerous shot. Damaen Kelly takes the count. He didn't have to in his European win against Mametov, but he was hurt by a right hand in that one. Susceptible to that punch. Well, that will give Bueno a lot of encouragement.
I think he was also caught square-footed, so he took the full blast of the punch. He wasn't moving away. He seemed to caught square, and down he went. I expected him to get back up straight away, but the fact that he was looking down towards the timekeeper suggested he was a little bit stunned by that.
Yeah, very quick. A little sharp poking right from the Spaniard, and now Kelly moves. But will that have given the Spanish cap some confidence? Kelly starts to trade a little bit. He doesn't want to get involved.
He's just taking another one at him, another right hand.
And suddenly the fight turns around. And Kelly being hit by the right hand of Bueno. And again. Got to get his jab out.
Yeah, but what's going to happen, not this round now, I mean he's been on the floor, just get this round behind him, but he's going to have to start punching hard enough to discourage this little fellow. It's been nice boxing, little popping jabs and hooks, but nothing solid. He's going to have to start discouraging this little fellow.
Damaen Kelly nods to Jose Antonio Lopez Bueno. He smiles in his corner. He doesn't look badly hurt, but he was down.
I thought it was a partly balanced thing, Adam, but nope, you can see bang on the button, down he goes. I thought he was caught a little bit square, maybe partly balanced, but the time he took to get back up again, he was definitely stunned by that shot. Bang, beautiful shot. So suddenly the cut eyes are not the problem, it's the fact that this fella has the power to hurt him.
10 knockouts in his 15 wins, Bueno, and he did win the title by knocking Mexico's Ruben Sanchez down 3 times. It was a third round stoppage. Now, Sanchez was tight at the weight that night, so we didn't know how hard this man hit, but Damaen Kelly knows he hits hard enough. Well, that makes it more interesting here in the Ulster Hall as we go into the 5th round. Damaen Kelly, remember, the champion in the white trunks. 27-year-old, a quiet man from the Turf Lodge area of Belfast, up against the very loud and boisterous Lopez Bueno, who has come here on a mission. And in fact, his promoter Bernard Roos says he will win at 2 minutes and 22 seconds of round 8. Well, that's a bit of a bold prediction, but he could do now.
Well, I mean, no drastic. We don't want any panic in the campaign now. I mean, he made a little mistake, but he was boxing beautifully up until then. So I'll just get the concentration back, just back to what he was doing, but maybe a little bit of snap in the punches now. Start discouraging this little fella. Give him. See, at the moment, Bueno's setting up attacks. He's missing with the punches, but there's nothing coming back to worry him.
It's Bueno closing down the range now quite effectively. As Kelly tries to get his jab and his own right hand helping back in round 4 against Alexander Mametov in February. He had a nightmare when he was nearly down and cut badly, but he came back extremely well, so he obviously reacts well under pressure.
Yep, definitely, but as I say, I just like to see it get some snap into the jab now. Not just a little point scorer now. You know, we're heading towards the middle section of the fight now, so it's going to start getting rough.
Little slip from Bueno. A little bit of water on the canvas, maybe. And out of range. He hasn't panicked, Damaen Kelly. He doesn't normally when he's cut. And as Jim says, that's not the problem here. The problem is he knows this kid can punch. And he's staying out the way.
Yeah, well, he's a natural boxer. This is what he excels at. Boxing at range. Just making the other fellow reach for the punches and punishing him with counters. So he's recovered well from it, and he's got his nice little rhythm back again.
He didn't look badly hurt in between rounds.
No, but I think that the punch stunned him all right. You know, he didn't jump up straight away. It took a couple of seconds before he got back up to his feet.
Right hand creeps in from Kelly, just to disrupt Bueno's own jab. This is a better round for Kelly. He's come back well.
¿Entiendes? Esto es un trabajo poquito a poquito. Un trabajo, oye, un trabajo poquito a poquito. Y ahí es donde tienes que coger y viene el caos. No te tires con la derecha.
Well, there was some water on the canvas because while we were on the break, Damien's uncle Leo Rooney was clearing it out of the proceedings to help the fighters, which is good, and it will help Kelly presumably get back to his textbook skills.
Yeah, well, that was another good round for Kelly, and no ill effects from the knockdown. But boxing to his best again. Good round.
Big success rate, although Bueno has thrown more. But a lot has been out of range from the Spaniard in the red trunks here, challenging for the European flyweight title. Had Kelly down in the fourth, but until that point was being well and truly outboxed. Kelly must not panic. Again, the Spaniard's out of range. That long reach of Kelly proving crucial.
So really, Bueno should be pressurising Kelly much more. He's trying to box his way in and it's not really working.
He's coming off a fourth round knockout in April, the Spaniard, over Fernando Guevara. Before then he had a nightmare after he was stripped. He was knocked out in 2 rounds in February against Jair Jimenez, an unbeaten Colombian. So it's a testament to him that he's come back strongly from that. Obviously worked hard back in Spain. He's changed managers. Now with Ricardo Sanchez Atoja, who looks after the WBC light middleweight champion Javier Castillo. Good jabs from Kelly.
Kelly's still being allowed to box at his own pace and he's thriving on it.
Yes, Bueno just can't get him out of that rhythm that he's becoming really comfortable with, Kelly, here.
Bueno should be trying to draw him into more of a battle, pressurise him, jump on top of him, you know, march straight through, take punches to land some punches, be more adventurous. But he's not doing that, and of course that's good news for Kelly.
Right hand of Bueno tries to get through the high guard of Kelly. And every time he puts in a little jab or a sneaky right hand or left to the body like that, there's some applause from his corner. They know he's boxing well.
Well, I thought the main plan of Bueno would be to draw him into a battle, but he hasn't even tried to do that. He's tried to pick him off at long range. Don't understand his tactics.
But it's all Kelly once again, and let's see how Barry McGuigan is seeing things up in the studio of his little prospect star.
Yeah, I think Kelly's boxing very well after that blunder a couple of rounds back. He was genuinely hurt in that, and he can't afford to make that mistake again. He can't afford to stand in the centre of the ring and trade with this guy. He's got to be in and out and circling, and after he throws his right hand, he's got to move his head. He's constantly leaving that right hand or that head there for the counter right. He's got to be careful of that. Keep his boxing up, in and out, nice jabbing, nice clever boxing like this, and in and out. That's the way he's got to do it. Everything's dictated by the jab. 1, 2, no more than 3 punches, and that jab is the ultimate weapon here. But he's doing well. Just got to keep his left hand up when he's in close, or get his head tucked in underneath that left hand. But he's doing well. Long way to go, but anything can happen.
Yes, there is a long way to go. Another half of the 12 rounds, but Damaen Kelly has landed far more punches. You can see double that, and more head and more body. Here's the 7th. The Spanish challenger from Zaragoza, Jose Antonio Lopez Bueno, in the red trunks with the red boots, trying to prize the European flyweight title, the 8-stone belt away from Damaen Kelly. And let's have a look at how Jim's got it. The halfway stage, 3 up.
See, I think it's a great pity when your thinking is governed by how many times you've been cut in the past. Because, I mean, as well as winning titles and winning fights, you want to be attractive, you want to please the crowd, you want to be in good fights, you want drama in your fights. And it's a great pity for Kelly that all the time we're thinking, no, do it safety first, just fiddle around, in and out. I know Barry's saying exactly right upstairs, that's what he has to do to keep this title. But what a great tragedy, the little fellow wants to be an attraction as well, wants to be in exciting fights with a bit of drama. And it's a great pity that he's held back with the constant cuts.
Yes, it is a safety first approach for Kelly. When he is boxing on song, he is lovely to watch in his own way. But Bueno just gets a jab in. And some encouragement from the Spanish corner as Kelly comes back with a left hook of his own. Trying to close the distance now.
Yeah, but he should really be putting more into this challenge. He's too laid back. He's always allowed Kelly to dictate the pace. He should be changing the tempo, raising it up, really drawing this little fellow into a battle. But he can't seem to do it. Kelly's still controlling things. Isn't
that a credit to Kelly in the way he's boxing, though?
Yeah, he's boxing beautifully. He's made one mistake, been punished for it. But that's what this game's all about.
Just slips there, Kelly, again on that water, or the sweat that's leaking onto the canvas.
More success here from Bueno. He's getting closer now. Just little right hand.
Cutting the range down again. And less movement from Kelly here. He's getting a little frustrated in there. To remember the game plan.
I think this is where we're going to see some heads coming together now, because they're actually a little bit more frantic now. Kelly not quite controlling the little fellow now.
He's having to work hard, Damaen Kelly, to keep the shorter man away from him. That was a nice move. But Bueno's trying to beat him to the jab, but he won't do that with Kelly.
Well, the exchanges are lasting a little bit longer now, so that'll be suiting Bueno.
More of an even round. And you see the water there on the canvas of the ring, and they've taped up his boots there. His uncle, the Aruni, was in there taping up the soles of his boots so that Kelly won't slip, because remember, that's what he needs. He needs the balance to make his skills become effective, and they have for the most part here. But Bueno came back there.
Yeah, well, the exchanges were a bit more competitive in that round. He was getting closer and he was forcing Kelly to stay in range a couple of seconds longer and exchange punches. So that's the first little change, and Bueno is the one who needs change. Still nice back foot boxing, nice little punches from Kelly, but having now to get involved with this little fellow.
Second fight, round 8.
Here's the 8th of this European flyweight title. British champion and Commonwealth holder Jason Booth, who took the titles off Keith Knox, who had taken them in turn off Damaen Kelly. That will be a great fight out there. Kelly against Jason Booth. The world scene very much in the Thai's favour at the moment. IBF King Irene Pacheco from Colombia has been the longest serving holder, and the former WBO champion trying to win a European belt here is Jose Lopez Bueno in the red trunks. Now this is his round that his promoter Bernard Roos said he would stop Kelly in. 2:22 into it. No sign yet. Frank Maloney there saying stick to the boxing, stick to the plan.
Yeah, well, things are working well. Things are working very well, in fact, because Bueno still is throwing single shots and trying to trade jabs, which is suiting Kelly down at the ground.
Kelly moving. Trying to use the whole of the ring to frustrate and possibly slow down Bueno, but he might run out of a bit of gas himself, although there's been no stamina problems in the past for Kelly. Remember, Bueno got to him in the 4th round with the right hand.
Bueno's missing with everything here.
This as Kelly moves, Bueno cannot. Until then again Kelly slips. They've got that tape on the boots, but that is not helping matters for the Irishman.
I like the fact that Kelly is moving his head a little bit more when he ducks. When he ducks below, when he lands a couple of punches, he's starting to move his head from side to side, bob and weave a little bit.
If you watch his feet for a minute, he dances so well, Kelly. It all comes from that balance, and he doesn't need to be slipping on the ring apron. Certainly not at this stage. Double and treble up with that jab. Classy movement from the classy former amateur star. Bueno himself has been boxing since he was 13, and he did win several Spanish junior amateur titles, but he became a waiter. He was actually a full-time waiter when he turned professional. So not always been as dedicated as Kelly, who may well be running away with it a little now. Well, let's have a look at the 8-stone champions there. The strangely named Sawnpikai Krakidyang. I don't know if I said that right. The WBA king, who I think was formerly something like 3K Battery. They changed their names to do with a sponsorship out there. But more interestingly, maybe on the domestic level, European there, Damaen Kelly, obviously defending tonight, and the Commonwealth and British holder Jason Too Smooth Booth. And his manager Mike Shimfield says he will beat Kelly inside the distance if they meet. Frank Maloney was saying to me earlier that might happen later this year. It'd be a good one, wouldn't it?
It would be good, yeah. 3 titles at stake, that'd be a nice little one, yep, definitely. Well, Kelly got his little boxing roadshow back on the road again. Nice jabs, nice long range boxing. Yep. 71 punches from Kelly.
Yeah, double the jabs as we enter the 9th round. Kelly, remember, the 27-year-old in his 13th fight. 13th, and he's won British, Commonwealth and European titles before. Up against the former world champion at 25. But of course, as flyweights, they have much shorter careers. Let's see how Jim's got it. 4 points up to Damaen Kelly. But he's got to keep to his game because there's 4 more to go. That prediction didn't come right. Rather bold, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, thankfully for Kelly, Bueno's doing exactly the same things now. He lacks the imagination, I think, to get this fight swayed his way.
And he's looking for the uppercut there, Kelly, and that's what Mickey Hawkins in the corner was signalling. When he gets inside and he's pressured to fight that way, he should throw that punch. They have also both fought the same guy in Russian Igor Gerasimov, who Kelly stopped in 4 and Bueno stopped in 7. It's the only common foe. We found out plenty about each other here tonight.
It's been a fair old pace so far. And Bueno missing with a lot of punches, so you would expect him to start blowing a bit.
Yes, they've kept throwing the lever from the opening bell. Much more thrown, obviously, as flyweights. The little punches that you have to keep a close eye on. Again, ducking down low, and nice skills from Kelly. And there's a sense of Bueno just trying to chase him around the ring and not having a lot of success as Kelly grows in confidence. Looks a little one-paced, doesn't he, the Spaniard?
Yeah, he's a little short in ideas. I mean, it's no easy task solving Damaen Kelly out when he's in this mood in boxing so well. But Bueno hasn't really come up with anything new. Kelly solved him out and he's carrying on doing the same thing. So, apart from the knockdown, no signs of real danger. He slipped again then.
Yes, and his uncle, I'm sure, will be in again to wipe the canvas. But it's accuracy, crisp, clean punching from Damaen Kelly. Well, let's see how former British champion and former world challenger just last week, Mickey Cantwell, is seeing things with Ed Robinson.
Mickey, how are you reading the fight after 9 rounds gone?
I've got Damaen Kelly well in front. Part of the only round I've seen him lost is obviously the 4th round. Bueno hasn't done nothing different, which I'm surprised about. I really thought after the 4th round he would have jumped on Damaen, but Damien's got it all his own way and dictating the pace and doing exactly what he pleases.
Any chance Bueno can repeat that knockdown of the 4th round?
I just can't see it, you know. I said he hasn't changed nothing. He hasn't done nothing different from the 4th to the 9th, so I don't see it over the last 3 rounds.
Have you been impressed by Damian this evening?
Yeah, technically, as we know, he's very good anyway, but he said he's doing what he's best at, and that is boxing in and out, scoring, getting all the points, you know, and win the fight easily.
Thank you.
That's it, Mickey. The artful dodger of hit but not be hit. And Damaen Kelly is taking Lopez Bueno to school with that. 10th round here, 9 minutes to go of this European flyweight title. 8-stone belt up for grabs on the left of your screen. Remember, Bueno from Spain in the red trunks, the challenger. Kelly's first defense, having taken it off Alexander Mametov in pretty controversial circumstances, but there's no controversy here so far. Down in the 4th, the only mistake really he's made all night. What has Bueno got to do? He's really got to go for it now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has to go all out, really. I mean, he must know his corner, must know he's well behind in points. So he really has to be more adventurous, take shots to land shots, stop trying to work Kelly out, because you can't work him out. He's done long enough in his field. So really, just let the punches go, jump right on top of him and draw him into a battle. But who knows, maybe he's trying to do that, and Kelly's even too good for that.
Little marking by the left eye of Bueno. And Kelly remains fine. All the pre-fight worry about the cuts opening up again. On the interview he gave earlier, it did look as though his right eye probably hadn't quite healed after the Mametov fight, but It's held up well, and Mick Williamson has been really no help in the corner. He hasn't needed it. He hasn't needed to be around. Only if something happens. But it's all going pretty well for Kelly in there.
And I suppose when you've missed with as many punches as Bueno has over the first 9 rounds, I mean, your confidence is not high. And it's difficult to shake yourself out of it.
But he knows he can hurt Kelly.
And that's why I'm surprised he hasn't really thrown everything at Kelly. And now's the time, the 10th and 11th round is the time you should be doing it, because you don't want to leave it till the last round, because all Kelly's going to do is coast, grab and hold if he's in any danger. You really want the big drive to be in rounds 10 and 11 when you're behind in points, while you still have time to capitalise on any success you achieve.
Kelly's still moving out of the way and not yet showing any signs of slowing down. Light on his feet. And just thrusting that counter right out at every opportunity to keep Bueno at bay. And there's more talking now in the Spaniards' corner. They're obviously getting agitated because it's not going well for their man. It's not proving as hard as the Mamatov fight.
No, Bueno just has never been able to put him under pressure. And I think obviously Kelly's tactics have been different tonight. When he's known before the first bell that he was going to be on the bike for at least the first half of the fight, it's worked so well, so he's carried on doing that.
And he has for the second half of the fight in a rather dejected looking Lopez Bueno, with the attention to the face there in the Spanish corner. Trainer Agustin Plau working hard, and Bueno's thrown more leather, but you can see the quality landing from the Irishman. Double the success.
So he's still trundling forward, still giving it all he has, but just that little bit short and ability, I'm afraid. Just can't solve Kelly out. Kelly's speed, his timing, just keeping him out of trouble.
Well, what on earth are they saying to him in Spanish? There's Agustin Plau, all I know, Jim, is they're not happy in there.
No, they're not entitled to be. They must know they're well behind in points. But I just don't think Bueno has anything else to offer. So, barring disasters, everything's looking good for a successful defence here.
Well, they've got 6 minutes to do something about it. And remember, Kelly has completed 3 12-rounders before, and Lopez only 1. So there shouldn't be any problem with Kelly running out of steam, suddenly becoming tired. But one never knows. And if Bueno can just find that right hand again and get in range, he may be able to dent Kelly once more.
See, against a tricky opponent like Kelly, you have to show a little feint, you have to force him into making mistakes. You can't just trundle after him, throwing leading punches, single shots. You're never going to hit him. And Bueno doesn't seem to be able to do that. You know, little feints, draw leads, you know, force him to make the first move. But Bueno doesn't seem to have the talent for that.
No, he's looked a bit too predictable, lacking in variety, maybe basic at this level, and a little bit of tape coming loose on his left glove. But Dave Colwell did not rave about him when he came back from fighting him. And you can see Kelly is really giving an exhibition for the Ulster Hall crowd here.
And again, he's looking as though he can do this all night long, isn't he? No signs of discomfort whatsoever.
You get the feeling he could do this for 15 rounds.
Yep.
Well, that right, just sneaking in, a reminder to Kelly, and a little bit of marking underneath the left eye of Kelly. It doesn't look serious at all, but a patch.
I think maybe it's just as well Bueno scored that knockdown in the 4th round, because otherwise you'd be saying this is an easy night's work for Kelly. The little bit of drama and the fact that he has the power to hurt him is just adding a little bit of drama to what's happening, but he's been totally outboxed. I mean, this is a landslide
all it's really done is kept Kelly on his toes, hasn't it?
Yeah, but you know, it's added that little bit of worry every time Bueno comes close.
Well, the smiles from the Kelly corner now as he coasts through the 11th round with Bueno unable to land and unable to get inside Kelly's long reach and that jab, which has been so useful tonight. Peppering that left hand out into Bueno's much swollen face. And he hasn't slowed down one little bit, and look at him. Jogs back to his corner, Damaen Kelly. Well, it's not been a walk in the park because he's been down, but I tell you, he and his corner are enjoying this. Punches landed. 190 for Damaen Kelly, and it surprises me that many's landed from Bueno.
Yeah, that's a fact. I think a lot of those punches have maybe been taken on arms and shoulders.
Well, 12-round schedule, both 5 times, but Kelly has been 3 and Bueno only once, and Bueno needs, without any shadow of a doubt, a knockout in the final round. Jim's unofficial card, 7 points ahead for Damaen Kelly, even with that knockdown against him in the 4th. He surely has to be stopped. The judges from Bulgaria, Germany and Holland hopefully we'll be seeing the same thing. Final round, a roar from the Irish crowd here to help Damaen Kelly retain his European flyweight championship, having outworked and outclassed the Spaniard Jose Lopez Bueno. He has been involved in family affairs lately, Kelly. His wife Margaret gave birth 2 weeks ago to daughter Kaelin, and he said he's had some sleepless nights and it hasn't been perfect preparation, but his sparring went well, and what matters is what he's doing in the ring, and he's getting a gold star, isn't he?
Yep. It's been textbook boxing all the way through. One little slip, as we've said, he found himself in the canvas, but that's the only success really that Bueno's had all night long. And he's not entitled to be any more successful because it's really been repetitive stuff, the same approach all the way through. Never got himself into the fight.
No, out of range, out of ideas, too predictable, too basic for this level, Bueno. And maybe it was fortunate that he did hold the WBO flyweight championship, and maybe more hopefully for Kelly, it means that one day his dreams of becoming a world champion could very well come true. Great that his eyes haven't cut, and as he canters away.
Let's remember that's a little point, Adam. He has totally outboxed a former world champion, a champion who didn't lose his title, stripped of his title. So, I mean, it's not a bad performance. We're sitting here as though it's easy, but he's making it easy. And that takes a little bit of talent.
Fresh as a daisy, Damaen Kelly enjoying every minute of his first defence. How the Irish have loved this. Can he follow Johnny Caldwell and Rinty Monaghan to become a world champion one day? He's got the skills, no shadow of a doubt about that. And when he keeps his concentration, he is quite brilliant to watch. Here we go, all around the Ulster Hall. Lovely to have boxing back here. And a little man who's becoming a hero in these parts, from Turf Lodge, the quiet, reserved and very talented Damaen Kelly, strolling to surely another triumph here. The bell goes, the crowd roars, and Kelly dances with the crowd. They are so happy to have seen him box so brilliantly. And Damaen must be pleased with that. How did he rate?
Well, almost perfect performance. He won virtually every round. I think I gave Bueno one round with a knockdown. I gave him a share of another round, and that was the end of it. You know, lovely performance of boxing. I mean, obviously, when we start talking about moving on to world level, we'll probably have to see a little bit more grit. But grit wasn't required tonight. Boxing ability, speed and timing was what was required, and he had that in abundance.
Smiles on Frank Maloney's face. And there's Uncle Leo Rooney, who did such a good work on the canvas with the water. That's how Jim's got it, 118 to 110. But we wait for the judges' official verdict. As I say, they're from Holland, Germany and Bulgaria. But surely they could have only seen one interpretation of that. And there the judges tottering it up. And Kelly applauds the crowd who have given him the support and raises the hand of Bueno, who came into the lion's den and just didn't have enough for Kelly and didn't have enough to win a European championship here. Well, this is what they fought for, the beautiful European title. Kelly, who won the British and Commonwealth, will surely hold on to the European here. There's only one remaining, the world. Let's hear how they scored it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of European Championship boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Henry Hermerich of the Netherlands scores the contest 116 to 111. Judge Kemen Petrov of Bulgaria scores the contest 117 to 111. And Judge Axel Zielke scores the contest 116 to 113. For your winner by unanimous decision, and still the
Damaen Kelly retains his European flyweight title, and we will be having a word with him straight after the break.